Since our country was founded, America has been a beacon of hope to the world, a free, prosperous country, populated by some of the greatest people in human history. Unlike the slum-ridden cities of the Third World, America has mostly been middle class, the land of opportunity. But now, due to a combination of terrible forces, that way of life is under threat. One of those threats is our open border. Since Joe Biden took office, more than 8 million people have entered our country illegally. That is nearly the population of New Jersey. Now, these people have to go somewhere, and you can bet that they're not going to Malibu or Nantucket. No, they are coming to you. And it doesn't take a genius to point out that if you import the Third World with no restrictions, no rules, no plan, you end up becoming more Third World yourself. Last fall, a development named Colony Ridge became a media sensation when news organizations reported that it was a booming haven of illegal immigrants and potentially a strategic asset for cartels. The community, which also goes by the Spanish name Terranos Houston, is the fastest growing development in Texas. It's just a 30-minute drive from Houston, America's fourth largest city. And yet it seemed like the state of Texas, the biggest and most important red state in the country, didn't really seem to care. How could that be? Well, we decided to check it out for ourselves. So we went to Colony Ridge and we spoke to all the key players, outraged Texans, former and current Colony Ridge residents, local law enforcement, the superintendent of schools, and the developer himself, John Harris. What we found is a complicated story, which we decided to share with you in detail and with total openness and fairness. This is Blaze Originals. We're at the headquarters of Terranos Houston or Terranos Santa Fe. Not sure, but we'll ask him when we get inside. We're going to talk to the man with the answers. He's the CEO of the colonies. Hey, John, how are you? Good to see you.
Great to meet you. I'm like Sears and Roebuck. I have a product, I created it, I sell it.
Developer John Harris started Colony Ridge with his brother Trey and his cousin Kevin in 2011. Located in the rural area that was once mostly hunting leases and timberland, Colony Ridge exploded in popularity thanks to owner finance loans. For $500 down and 12.9% interest, buyers can purchase their own slice of rural Texas regardless of their creditworthiness or citizenship. How many people live in Colony Ridge currently?
Approximately 35,000.
35,000. The development is controversial because, unlike mortgages offered by traditional banks, Colony Ridge can issue loans with no credit requirements and limited ID verification to foreign borrowers. The federal government gives illegal immigrants individual taxpayer identification numbers, which makes them eligible for the loans Colony Ridge offers. Though Harris insists most of his customers are American. So is it majority American citizens?
Sure, absolutely.
Really? Do you have any idea what the
percentage is?
Yeah.
No, because we don't ask, and we really can't.
How do you know that it's
seller,
majority?
Well, Texas driver's license, social security number. I'm guessing, right? Because a lot of foreign-born folks can have those things.
Okay. All right. You don't collect citizenship information, though?
We don't.
Okay. So when you were talking about, because I've heard you talk about this is, great for American dream, right?
Absolutely, sure.
What's the American dream to you?
To me,
yeah.
Own something of your own your own home, build a life for your family, have a safe place for your kids to go to school. That's what we're trying to create for people here.
Is that a safe place to go to school?
Absolutely.
Do you view this as a service for America, that this is good for America?
No, I'm very proud of what we do here. Look, if I wasn't doing this to help people, I would have been retired a long time ago. I'm providing a service. I'm providing land. My customers are better Americans than most of the people who listen to your show. They work hard, they're family oriented, they're just out here to improve their lives. They came from Harris County, that's the only border they're worried about.
To be honest, we were surprised at Harris's claims. For months, media reports boldly claimed Colony Ridge was a haven for crime, cartels, and illegal immigrants. Were they wrong? Was I wrong? Or was someone lying? And if so, who?
We were just trying to provide something for the customer at the bottom of the market, right? The lower end, people that didn't have an opportunity for anything else, and we did really good. It lit up really fast.
The boom is fueled by Colony Ridge's marketing strategy. They aggressively advertise online and almost entirely in Spanish.
And we learned really quickly that the market that was the best for that product were Hispanic immigrants. I mean, it just seemed like they paid their bills better. It worked better. When you talk to them, if you're honest and you talk to a broad spectrum, the vast majority are gonna be extremely happy.
I was really torn because he seemed like that Saturday Night Live, 60 Minutes character that, drinking water and sweating profusely. But I had the facts only from what I had read in the New York Post, and I didn't know.
Yeah, he seemed to have an answer for almost everything.
Right.
So immediately, I think the feel was this is a lot more complicated than what we thought. The only way we're going to be able to figure this out is to actually go out there, get on the ground, talk to people, figure it out for ourselves.
This day I had a radio program I had to put on, so I wasn't free to spend another day in what the critics call the world's largest trailer park. So I sent my head writer and chief researcher, Jason Buttrill, back into Colony Ridge to talk to the people who lived there.
When you drive through here, it pretty much looks like you're in Mexico. You see homes with businesses attached directly to them, and almost like it was a free-for-all.
The first thing you notice about Colony Ridge is that it's nothing like the surrounding area.
And we got tamales out of some guy's trailer. Not sure if it's open right now, but that's kind of par for the course out here.
Even among the massive developments that are so common in Texas, Colony Ridge stood out.
Check out these roads. There's not any lines on these roads. I mean, you can't even tell which side of the street you're really supposed to even drive on, much less crosswalks or anything like that. And this is the middle of the development.
Nothing was in English. Packs of stray dogs roamed the streets, farm animals were living in people's yards, trash, dead animals, including dead dogs, were lying on sides of the roads. And there was plenty of housing, but very few businesses. It felt strange. It didn't just feel like a different country. It felt like a different world.
Very little regulation, can turn the American world into the third world.
After Colony Ridge became a media sensation, the Texas legislature sent $40 million for increased patrols in the development.
We're here with BlazeTV, Glenn Beck's BlazeTV, and we're doing a documentary on the Colony Ridge area. Can you guys talk at all? None at all.
In broad daylight and with the heavy police presence, Colony Ridge didn't seem the cartel-dominated killing fields while we were there, though the troopers weren't interested in talking to us. Luckily, the locals were more open to it.
So we just found a little side vendor selling clothes. As far as we've heard about some gang activity, specifically like cartel activity. Any rumors of that out here at all?
Yo nunca he mirado nada. Todo se mira tranquilo.
Everything is so calm here.
Would you tell me even if it was real?
No hay por qué. No.
Where are you from originally?
¿De dónde
México.
In Mexico.
Like many of the people we encountered, he was friendly. He even invited us into his home.
Or when did you come to Texas, I guess, from Mexico?
En el 18.
In the 2018.
2018. So you worried about all the people coming over the border?
Pues la verdad yo pienso que todo el mundo tiene derecho a querer algo mejor.
Person after person was willing to talk to us, including this woman running a taqueria in her yard.
Do you live here in Colony Ridge?
Sí.
When did you come here?
¿Cuándo llegaste aquí?
Hace 6 años.
And you came from where?
Houston.
And before that?
México.
Did you become a citizen when you came over here, or still haven't done that yet?
No.
Is this the American dream that you expected?
Pues es un poco mejor que estar en mi país.
We heard reports of like people firing gunshots sometimes at night.
¿Has oído disparos o algo?
Ever hear that?
Yeah, todos los días.
Every day.
Every day, gunshots. We've noticed a lot of livestock, like what you have kind of in the back over here. Is that pretty normal for Colony Ridge?
Sí.
It's interesting, just got finished talking to the woman that owns this taco stand. This is her lot. She also lives adjacent. And kind of confirms slightly what we've heard from the developer. She also came from Houston, which that's a check mark on that. But she came from Mexico beforehand. And she's also not a citizen. We were just driving down, and I kind of felt like we found a little corner of Cancun, right here in the middle of Colony Ridge. Where's you from?
Mexico.
When did y'all move to Colony Ridge?
In 2020.
From where?
Houston.
When did your family immigrate from Mexico over to here?
Oh my God, that was like 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah, it's been like a really long time.
Are you first generation U.S. citizen, or?
Yeah, well, like, not really, but like I'm being here for a really long time. They brought me here when I was like really little, 6 months old.
So as the sun's going down here in Colony Ridge, we're driving out and we see the smoke plumes rising, and those smoke plumes are from people burning their trash. I served in Afghanistan. Every third world or even a war-torn country always smells that way. The people here, definitely majority are illegal immigrants. That's just a fact. Most of them did come, is what it sounds like, from Houston, but from Houston before that, Mexico, other places south of the border.
The one thing that I think the developer said that actually was true was, by and large, the people that we talked to did appear happy. It was a lot better situation than they were in wherever they came from, whether that was Mexico, elsewhere in South America.
However, there were some that were very unhappy, and we were about to talk to the Sanchez sisters.
Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello.
You are?
Sue Ellen.
Sue Ellen, I'm Glenn. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Glenn.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. This should be easy. Sit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kaylin, Swell, and Sanchez are former Colony Ridge residents. Now, they run a website called Terranos Houston Demanda, which is highly critical of the development.
So in my conversations with the developer, he is convinced that this is the American dream, this is an entry level, this is a service, and he's doing good.
That's a lie. We've been scammed. It's a nightmare. I would have never in my wildest dreams imagined that this is what would come out of going to Colony Ridge.
What was your experience?
A nightmare. Nothing that they said and promised they gave to us. I even have to put my own light pole, my own meter, and they say in their commercials everything's included. Water, light, and storage.
He would say that you're buying just raw land, and so he's not developing the land, he's just selling you the land. You have to develop it yourselves.
In December, the Justice Department filed suit against Colony Ridge, accusing them of luring Latino buyers into self-finance loans and setting them up for default. In the suit, the feds claim that, quote, Colony Ridge falsely represents through advertisements that lots are sold with the infrastructure to connect water, sewer, and electrical services, end quote.
Basically, they do have the connections, and it's there, but you have to get somebody to put it in for you. At least that was my experience in one of my lots.
Some would say, because we've heard it from Colony Ridge, you are two disgruntled people that have your own point of view, and you are the odd man out. That you had an experience that is not usual.
That's not what the emails say. The emails of people writing to us, not the experience.
During our interview with Harris, he was adamant that his advertisements, which are all in Spanish, are not meant for foreigners.
Outside of the United States.
I'm not advertising outside the United States.
You guys are from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And they told me yesterday they don't market to foreigners. They don't market to illegals.
We do know that they do market outside of the United States, including Colombia, because they have people from social media in Colombia.
At this point, we realized in our own frustration, our investigation was a classic he said, she said. So we asked the Sanchez sisters, can you back up your claim?
So if we look at their Facebook page here and you go to the about, and then you go to page transparency, Facebook will give you as much transparency as they can about this, this page. So it tells you primary countries and regions where people manage this page include United States and Colombia. So they have people working in Colombia for them for Facebook and part of their marketing. And
because they would say that this is just, so what? I hire people from around the world. We are not marketing outside of the United States. The internet has no borders.
The thing is that if you get people from Colombia, the algorithm will take the ads to social media around Colombia and surrounding countries. So I'm just gonna place one of the videos and do my best to translate it.
Okay.
¿Ya estás cansado de pagar esa renta tóxica de ese mismo apartamento?
Are you tired of paying that toxic rent from that same apartment?
Tiempo de que ya cambies tu hábito.
Change your
Así que acá te dejo
habits.
saber que puedes ser propietario con nosotros en una manera súper fácil.
And you can be a landowner with us very easily.
Sí, ser propietario de un espacio así de grande
Have a
donde vas a
space
poder
like this.
o tu traila o construir la casa de tus sueños si quieres.
Where you can put your trailer or build the house of your
Tu casa que
dreams.
sea de 3 pisos, adelante.
If you want your home to be in 3 floors, you can do that.
Estamos acá para ayudarte a ti y a toda tu familia para que ya puedan vivir libremente acá en los
We're here to help you so that your family can live freely here
Estados Unidos.
in the
¿Dónde
USA.
Estamos en Houston, Texas, donde tenemos
We're in
terrenos
Houston,
súper amplios
Texas.
para ti y toda tu familia y cada de estos terrenos vienen
Where we have land for you and all of your family.
garantizados con todos los servicios de la ciudad, que es el agua, la luz y el drenaje. También
And they come guaranteed with all the services, water, light, and drainage.
While we were with him, we confronted John about language on his website for the Santa Fe neighborhood of Colony Ridge.
The Santa Fe says, come to America and have your home in America. But it was my understanding that you didn't advertise.
Are you translating that from Spanish? I haven't seen that site recently. I don't look at the website every single day.
I don't look at mine every day, but I would kind of know if I was advertising outside of the United States or
I'm
using
not
that.
advertising outside the United States.
So why does it say that? Is that a mistake?
I don't know. I don't know how well your Spanish is. I don't know.
I don't speak Spanish, but our translator did. Do you speak Spanish?
No.
Oh, yeah, well, then what are you even looking at?
Yeah, we're both in the same boat.
As the conversation wore on, we pointed out that even if most of his customers were coming from Houston, that doesn't mean they're U.S. citizens.
10% of Houston is also illegal.
Yeah, and which, not surprising. And that's, I think that probably translates to, it wouldn't surprise me if that's exactly what the rate is here, right? Because that's where they come, that's where my customers come from.
At this point, we were really confused. Was Colony Ridge just a bunch of Americans living the dream, or was Harris selling land to illegal immigrants? We decided to have our translator call Colony Ridge, and in Spanish, say she was undocumented. This is how that call went.
Hola, muy buen día. Mi nombre es Estela y me informaron que usted tenía una propiedad de venta, pero hay un problemita. Yo no soy legal aquí en los Estados Unidos. ¿Qué necesito para eso?
Mira, nosotros no checamos crédito, no vamos por medio de banco, la financiación sería directamente aquí en casa. Lo único que ocupas son 2 IDs vigentes, puede ser tu pasaporte, ID number, de licencia, incluso documentos de tu país de origen, siempre y cuando estén vigentes.
¿Cuánto dinero necesitaría y cuánto cuesta?
Mira, el enganche normalmente son $1,000.
¿$1,000? Sí puedo ir para allá,
Entonces, mira.
Si podemos negociar, claro que sí, voy para allá.
Perfecto, entonces te voy a poner como fecha tentativa el 22 de diciembre, pero estaría muy encima de Navidad.
Ok, muchísimas gracias.
Gracias, señora Estela, feliz día.
Igual.
Ask her what just happened.
So, I qualify. I don't need anything but my passport and any other type of ID. No documents. It's not necessary to have documents. It's not necessary to have anything as long as you have $1,000 down.
$1,000 down, foreign passport, and even a foreign ID.
Exactly. I don't have to be legal. They said that I'm going to be closing the 22nd of December. So I'm qualified. I'm getting a land because I have my $1,000.
You're a landowner.
Yes, finally.
What would each of you say to John, the owner?
John, everybody makes mistakes. There's a God that's willing to forgive, even the things that you've done to us. But step back. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain. And there's a God up there that has mercy and grace for everyone.
So right off the bat, after talking to these sisters, that's immediately a claim kind of against what the developer said. They're clearly marketing to people outside the country. Clearly.
Yeah, clearly. And we knew that, kind of gut said that from the get-go. But everybody was talking really about crime on the outside. And he was clear. None of that was happening.
Absolutely clear.
None.
Yeah.
It was all happening in the county outside of the development.
Crime has gone down. Total crime.
In the last
rate.
2 years,
in the last
it
10,
has.
It has.
No, well, not true.
Moments before our interview with him, Harris's team sent us crime data that showed countywide crime surging since Colony Ridge started in 2011.
Well, your office sent me the statistics, and they're not good. Your crime statistics.
The crime has gone down since we came here.
You've only been here for 2 years?
No, we've been here since 2011.
Good. So
we
let me
talked about
give
it. But
let me give you the
crime
stats you gave me. They came from your office. 2011, murder in the county, 1. 2022, 10. Robbery, 5
That's
in
not
2011.
true.
They came from your office.
Colonel McCraw from the DPS was out
They
here.
came from
He
your
testified
office.
in
You
the
provided them. You provided them. I didn't get them from.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Okay, well.
But I don't.
Your office provided them as a good staff.
Okay, well, go ahead. Let's hear.
Murder, 1 to 10. Robbery, 5 to 14. Auto theft, 131 to 195. I saw.
This is Liberty County total, not my neighborhood. That's what you're talking about. That's where you get 10. It's not in my neighborhood. This didn't happen here.
Oh, so it didn't happen in Colony Ridge.
Well, to clear things up, we had to talk to somebody who would know the truth. Liberty County Sheriff Bobby Rader.
You know, and I walked in, you said, you enjoying yourself? And no, I'm not. This is a really confusing situation that I can't make heads or tails of. It's a very different story that I get from the complex or from the developer.
Yes, sir.
From the people who live all around it.
The people that live all around it are, in my opinion, telling you the truth on a lot of the stuff that you mentioned.
He was adamant that everything is happening outside of the development, and that's where all the growth is.
In the development, we've had 200 alarm calls since the first of the year. We've had 46 assaults, criminal mischief, criminal trespass, over 80-something calls there. We have a lot of runaways out there. The kids leave and everything. We've had 105 reports of runaways. Thefts in the subdivision in Zone 5, we call it, 179.
Compared to what's the rest of the county? What's the total?
Well, see, there you go. I can get the rest of the total, but you have more people in this population, so it should be more.
But you're clear. All the growth of crime
in the subdivision, yes.
Okay, all right. Good.
We had a meeting with some federal agencies this morning, and they informed us that the gang problem and any cartel problem, they go out of county, mainly to Houston, and commit their crime. Then they come back to their homes in Liberty County.
We talked to the Sheriff's Department, they say now cartels, of course, are just part of living in any community. That was their answer for, are there cartels there? The answer is yes.
I think that's exactly right. I think it is. I think there are cartels in every community. Cartel members in every community. But if you ask the sheriff, there's never been any cartel-related crime in this community, ever.
You say that there are cartel members living there, but they're not doing business there.
That's so far they're not.
So far.
We're investigating and looking to see, but so far we haven't made any arrests.
Okay. I have heard things like there's drug running, there is a sex slavery kind of thing, human trafficking, etc. Any indication of that?
Yes, sir. We call it a hub. We believe it is a hub for drugs. Okay. Also, you were talking about the human trafficking. We found several vehicles, pickup trucks, that have the back seat taken out. That is indication that are abandoned, that were stolen. That is an indication that it was probably used for human trafficking.
The developer says, though, these people are all from Houston.
That's what he says.
I drove around, and I don't think it looks like everybody's a bad guy there. Any idea of how many are illegal to legal, even?
You want my idea?
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on the reports from my sergeant that works that area, their account is the majority of the people up there are illegal aliens.
The majority?
The majority.
I was told 10% yesterday. You think that's even close?
Oh, no, sir.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things that the developer was saying, he was very consistent. It's 35, maybe 40,000 people there. Everyone else was saying, no, it's at least 70. How do we figure out who's telling the truth? There's no count.
The superintendent had probably the best formula to figure this out. And if you think about it, he would, because he would know how many of these kids are coming, from that community into these schools monthly. So I think the only way to really get this information is to actually go and talk to the superintendent.
We are at crisis level.
You are at crisis level.
We are at crisis level. We have spent millions over the last 8 years on portable classrooms for the entire district, both north and south.
Stephen McCandless is superintendent of Cleveland ISD, which serves Colony Ridge. The district is growing exponentially.
And to give you an example, this year on the first day of school, August 8th, we opened with 10,441 students. And as of today, we are at 12,100 students.
The district's growth is entirely fueled by Colony Ridge.
We spoke to the developer, and he's estimating that there's around 35,000 residents that are living in Colony Ridge. Does that sound accurate?
A school district has to project and plan on enrollment, and it's usually your district enrollment is usually 10% of your total community population. That tells me we should have about 80,000 people living down there.
Last November, the district's residents overwhelmingly voted down a $125 million bond proposal to fund the schools. The voters we spoke to felt like they shouldn't be obligated to pay to educate the children of illegal immigrants.
I saw the schools, they're beautiful schools. How is that school going to run without the bonds? How are the teachers going to be hired?
There's still a lot, $40 million my customers paid last year. It'll be almost 50 this year. Most of that goes to the schools.
In taxes? Is that what you mean?
Property taxes, for right here. And so I think the schools can run fine on what they have, but they need more schools. And I don't disagree with that at all.
So we spoke to the developer, and he estimated around, I think he said 40 to 50 million in tax revenue that he said was sufficient to continue to maintain those schools as well as the inflow of more students.
His figures, he did not consult with the school district, whatever figures he has given you. I know what we need here in the school district to operate effectively and efficiently. Our tax base, our revenue tax base is extremely low. So on a $100,000 home, we get $1,000 from that one house. Well, typically you have a mom and a dad and maybe 1 or 2 students. But what we're finding down there is you have multiple families living in one house with 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 children in one house.
How far do your predictions go?
It goes out to 2045. We are expected to be a 50,000 student district by the time it is all developed out.
Right off the bat, you can tell that, and straight from him, that the population is rising rapidly. And he actually said crisis level. And they're not getting new money in. So how are they going to fix things like infrastructure for the schools, infrastructure like the roads that are around?
This is I mean, if there's a flood, now we should say this, that never happens. This is not a flood zone. Except we did talk to somebody who's in the process of losing her house right now because she's had to buy so much fill dirt because of flooding.
During Harvey, in my neighborhood, nothing flooded. No homes flooded.
No homes flooded.
0 homes flooded.
So you've had no floods there?
Yeah, I know. We don't build lots in the floodplain.
The whole place is a floodplain, is it not?
Nope.
One of the biggest divides between the developers and their critics is whether the community is likely to experience major flooding.
We've been here since August.
So first big rainstorm, you get the house here.
Water everywhere.
Like where did it get to on your house?
So if you walk back here, let me show you. So if you see right here where the dirt is still muddy, I have videos and pictures to show you what it looked like. You couldn't see none of this.
This was all underwater?
This was all underwater. You couldn't see it.
Oh my gosh.
Look, there's always things that happen in neighborhoods. There's some, this lot got flooded. This lot got water on it, right? We'll go fix it. There's a problem in the ditch. Somebody dumps a load of dirt in the ditch to drive across to put their house there or to start building for pouring concrete or whatever.
Sure.
Backs up water because they didn't clean it out. We find it.
Besides isolated.
But isolated incidents. There's no floodplain and the drainage has worked well.
And you were never warned about this beforehand?
Never.
You were on an upgraded plot of land.
We were never told, hey, by the way, it floods.
We reached out to Colony Ridge about Yolanda's story. They sent us documents signed by her, acknowledging that the developers are not responsible for drainage issues.
I don't want to get...
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. The mud drags in, so come on in. As you can see, the ground is shifting so bad that it's causing crack damages in our home.
Yolanda claims the cost of repairing her property, along with hidden move-in fees, has been financially ruinous.
We didn't pay the land for, I want to say about 3 or 4 months, because we've been having to do repair to the land. Like gotta understand, each truckload that they bring you is $435. Each truckload doesn't even fill half. It fills maybe 1/5 of the land.
So are the developers now hassling you about the property?
So I got a call from Colony Ridge last week, and she's like, you have till January the 2nd to pay what you owe, or else you're going into foreclosure.
This has the most foreclosures in the county. 95% of all foreclosures.
Most of the sales in the county too.
Let me just say this. 3,100 people were foreclosed on last year in the last 12 months. 3,100. That's a lot.
That is a lot, but that's less than 12% of our loans, right? So it's a small amount for a lot of loans.
What do? They turn around, they foreclose, and they come right back and they sell the property for the same thing or higher. Yeah, this is how this man's making money.
When you foreclose on them, then you resell the property.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, so I lose money on a foreclosure every single time.
The foreclosures are shockingly common. In their lawsuit against Colony Ridge, federal prosecutors allege that at least 30% of all lots foreclose within 3 years of purchase. Liberty County had more foreclosures than significantly larger counties like Dallas and Bexar, home to San Antonio. And unlike what Harris said, the feds alleged that Colony Ridge resells the foreclosed properties at higher prices, essentially pocketing the improvements that they didn't pay for.
So if you don't end up meeting their deadline by January 2nd, was it? What's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to think about it because, you know, I mean, what do you tell your kids? And then that guilt kicks in, like we were dumb for even falling into this. But I mean, what do we do? 70% of the people that live out here, they don't speak English.
Yeah.
They don't know how to communicate. They're scared to speak for themselves because they're scared they're gonna be deported, or they're scared that they're gonna be asked. Who wants to risk that? Who wants to risk that? He did it right. He picked the Hispanic community, the most vulnerable community.
On January 2nd, Yolanda filed a lawsuit against Colony Ridge. She's still waiting to see if she'll lose her home.
Glenn, absolutely gut-wrenching. Of all these stories, when you talk to the higher-ups, you never really get the human element of this. And you could see it in her face. You could see it every time you asked her, how are you going to pay this bill, this bill, this bill? Were you even informed?
And I think that's what's missing is people, who's representing the individual? We're looking at it in such a big way. This place is so massive that the only way to really understand how big it is to see it from the air. So we're going to take you up on a helicopter.
All right, guys, we're coming up on it right now. Yep. Which side do you guys want it on?
Is that this?
Left side, please. Yep, that's this.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of interesting. You see on the outside, you see like these kind of nicer homes, but on the inside, the further you go in, is
look at the size of this.
It's huge.
I mean, it almost goes to the horizon, and that is not. We're not seeing the ends of it. That's just the develops.
Yes.
By the time Joe Biden's out of office, there will be about 10 million new people in here. We don't know who they are. 10 million people coming across our border. If you have 10 million people coming in, where are they living? You have to have things like this. You have to build whole communities. Again, the size of Miami, but look how many houses are yet to be built here.
Last fiscal year, 2.5 million illegals crossed the border. And that number is just so crazy, it almost sounds abstract. You wonder where the heck did they go because of those numbers? Look right there.
Yeah.
I mean, and how many more of these will start popping up?
And this will only be, maybe at the end, 250,000.
Yeah.
Where are the rest?
Right.
Look at how far this goes. So in 2018, Ted Cruz won by just over 200,000 votes. Already, this is almost half of that. In 10 years, it'll be much more than that, and Texas will be lost. Since the 2000 election, the state of Texas has increasingly trended Democrat. That's driven mostly by shifts in the cities and major suburban areas. In other words, the places with the most growth. It's interesting because you get out a bit and you see middle class America, but it's nice. It's not Haiti. Look at this. This is Haiti. And the way things are going now, you kind of wonder, is this the future for America? Because this is the path we're on as an entire country. In the 2020 election, 24,000 people voted in Liberty County, Texas, overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. Those voters are now outnumbered by the illegal immigrants who live in Colony Ridge. We're told today they can't vote. Time will tell. If you sell it all out, how many houses? How many people?
So, a lot of people buy multiple lots. So, we'll never have a house on every single lot. But yeah, it could be as much as 150,000 people, maybe even more than that.
In 33,000 acres?
Sure, yeah. I
thought it would be a lot more than that.
It may be, I haven't done that math.
If you accept Harris's low estimate, that's still twice the size of Santa Fe, New Mexico. It means the Trump-loving rural Texans who lived in Liberty County before Colony Ridge existed now find themselves pretty irrelevant. So you've lived here how long?
I'll be 76 next month, and I was raised right here.
Yeah, the house is for sale, yes.
Yeah.
We've had it.
In his interview, Harris suggested his critics are motivated by racism.
It's nicer in my neighborhood than the surrounding area.
Sure.
And I know that's where the complaints come from, but it's not because of the homes, it's because of the skin color of the people that are there.
So if you complain about it, you're a racist?
No, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but for some people, that's the only thing I can come up with, right?
The Enlows cited crime, traffic, noise, and the decline of their rural way of life as their reasons for leaving.
How far away are the houses from here?
Um,
And do you have houses behind you or trailers behind you?
both. Mostly trailers.
Yeah, mostly
it's the largest trailer park in the world.
I know. So tell me what you experience at night.
It's a little better since the police is down here better, but it's nothing for the little road that we're fixing to go down. That starts there, gunfire shooting up there, just pow, 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 coming in front of my house. The music will drive you nuts.
Does it bother you at all, just culturally, in America, to have 150,000 people that are speaking another language?
It's not like just because their skin is a different color, they don't necessarily all speak Spanish.
But you're only advertising in Spanish.
Yeah, no, because that's the...
I generally don't go to Spanish websites.
That's just been business.
But as people like the Enlows increasingly become more outnumbered in their own community, you have to ask, who's looking out for them?
I've heard this a lot today. Everybody's on the take.
Everybody, like the cops? You think Texas
not
DPS?
the cops. No, not the cops. Politicians, all on the take.
That's not true. What can they do for me? Like, what?
Come on. Come on.
Okay, yeah, so sure. But do I donate money to politicians? Yes, just like Donald Trump, right? You're a developer, you deal with politicians. I want to see the good ones stay in office, and I want to see the bad ones go away.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott received $1.4 million in campaign contributions from John Harris's brother, Trey.
What are you and your brother getting from Governor Abbott for $1.4 million?
It wasn't my donation, but I think Governor Abbott is a good politician, a good governor.
So do I, but I don't give him $1.4 million.
Well, no, and you could probably afford to.
In the summer of 2022, 2 planes full of Venezuelan migrants showed up at Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Within hours, the state government mobilized the National Guard to get them off the island. Meanwhile, at Colony Ridge, illegal immigrants are now building their own city deep in the heart of Texas. We reached out to Governor Abbott multiple times for comment. We called him, we emailed him, we texted him, we sent a letter in the mail. We offered to go to Austin to see him. We didn't get a response. It doesn't seem the governor was interested in explaining what, exactly, the Harris brothers got for their $1.4 million donation.
This seems like Brazil, where you have the nice proper folks, and just outside of their wall is this. And that's not America. That's not America.
So, in America, as you most likely know, there's a huge shortage of affordable housing. We're trying to give people a chance to do that, to own their own home. And the smart ones, my customers, will buy an old used mobile home. You see that?
Yep, I see
house?
it. And they're building a house
They
behind
started,
it.
yeah. They're not, they buy that $6,000 mobile home and they stick it on there because they have to bootstrap it, because I'm the only one that'll give them a loan for anything.
If I'm looking at this, I think to myself, if I'm you, I think to myself, well, let me put it this way. You know the story, It's a Wonderful Life?
Mm-hmm.
Which character are you?
I am providing a place for them to own. Pottersville was rentals. I'm building a place for people to own something.
Okay. On the surface, what John Harris is doing at Colony Ridge is entirely legal, but that doesn't make it moral, ethical, good, or even decent. But it is certainly allowed. Federal law lets foreigners buy land here. Illegal immigrants can get tax ID numbers. Developers can loan money to them. Lax zoning laws and cheap land make it easy to recreate third world style neighborhoods right here at home. Such a successful business model and popular product, have no doubt that other developers will see this model and recreate it across Houston, across Texas, and across America. Our open border all but ensures it. If the government of the United States allows unrestricted numbers of people from the third world to move here, our country will end up inevitably being a lot more third world, just like Colony Ridge. If the people in power don't take action to stop it, to seal our border, places like Colony Ridge could very well end up becoming the norm for millions of us.
The standoff at the border is heating up between Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the federal government.
Politicians will never let a crisis go to waste.
We have been invaded, and we have demanded support from the president, and they have refused to do so.
Well done, Governor Abbott. Where have you been for the last 3 years?
The crisis is being used by Republicans as a photo op.
Well, there's nothing at stake with the Shelby Park incident. This is not a great battle.
Just down the road. You can get in, no problem, no Humvees, no armed guards.
What people don't realize is there's a way around everything.
By the Democrats to expand their voting base.
More than 85% of everybody reaching the border is coming in. That's the definition of an open border.
And by the media to slander their enemies.
Supporters of the Texas governor are in a convoy going from Virginia to Texas as part of a group known as God's Army.
Fellow citizens and compatriots, we are besieged on all sides by forces of tyranny.
Oh, I love doing this.
These folks come with violence.
If you come in with hate, stay at home. If you come in with drama, stay at home with your mama. We don't want you here.
But we know that bad actors in the past have co-opted these types of events.
Well, we were peaceful assembled here. We were worshiping, we were praising. When they got here, everything started kind of breaking apart.
There's already agitators on the other side of the road here.
Before the judgment seat of Christ, are you going to go to hell and be well done?
What's happening right here, right now, could determine the fate of the next presidential election.
What the hell happened to Texas? We can take this country back. I swear to God, it's in our hands.